And it looks like, and we're live. All right, welcome to the show, Cruisers Old and New. Thank you for joining me on a lovely Saturday night. For those of you joining in, we have our question of the day ready for you guys. What is the total number of cruises that you've done, or in days or cruises? I'll tell you what. Our guest tonight is Ray Boudreaux, and he honestly, I'm going to be willing to bet that Ray has done more cruises and more days on a cruise ship than you have. But we're going to talk to Ray about that a little later. In the meantime, be sure to get your questions ready for Ray if you have any questions for someone who's been cruising for such a long time, because we're going to get to his interview later in the show. Oh, also tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about the history of Sydney, Australia, a port that you may or may not have been to yet. I'm not sure, but either way, we talked, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Last time I was on the show, we talked about Sydney, Australia, when Australia in general, with, who was our guest? Lee Mason that week. Yes, Lee Mason told us all about Australia after his 6 months as cruise director over there. And it was quite interesting, so it kind of made me want to learn more about Sydney, and that's why our history segment is going to be on Sydney this week. Oh, I see people coming in. Richard Ashley, welcome. Hi, how are you? Vincent Sorletti says 13. 13 cruises, Vincent? Is that 13 cruises that you've been on? Charisse Colley, good evening, Ray, Joe, and Bird. So excited for this show. Charisse, we're glad to have you back. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us every Saturday. Rita, cheers. Rita, welcome to the show. I saw Guy Davis was watching our behind-the-scenes camera earlier. I don't know if you guys know this, but behind me, right there, that little blue light is our behind-the-scenes camera. So it's kind of like a setup of all the screens that I've got in front of me and all the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on here. So if Guy Davis was watching earlier, Guy, if you're switching over, I know you always join me for a drink on Saturday, so cheers to you. You always have your vodka and lemonade. So cheers to you, and let me know how many cruises you've been on. Brenda Lee Bible, good evening from Ohio, Brenda. Well, good evening from Florida. Are we even in the same time zone, Brenda? I'm not sure if that's, I think you might be one hour behind us, so 7 Central, right? Richard Ashley, good question. Richard actually asked what I'm drinking tonight. Richard, I'm still on my low carb diet, so and I've lost 13 pounds so far, so I'm actually doing really good. So so I'm sticking with a low carb drink. I'm doing a plain vodka and soda tonight. So it's a cruise show. We got to be a little bit light and happy, right? So I'm kind of sticking with that until I got a few more pounds to go. I'm almost there. I'm almost at my goal. So after I quit working out and doing all that, I started gaining weight and everything. So it's, you got to do that once in a while. Guys, I see more people coming in. For those of you just coming in, post your answer in the comments to our question of the day. What is the total number of cruises that you've been on? And you can answer in days or cruises. And I'm going to be willing to bet that you have not done more days on a cruise ship or more cruises than our guest tonight, Ray. I'm pretty sure however many cruises you've been on or how many days you've been at sea, Ray has you outnumbered. And also get your questions ready for Ray, who we're going to be talking to later. Guys, he's been cruising for many years. Let me see. I think it was, how many years was it? 72 years. 72 years he's been cruising. So I guarantee he's had more days on a cruise ship than you have. Brenda Lee, yep, behind 1 hour. I thought so. I thought you were about behind 1 hour in Ohio. So Richard Ashley, 15 cruises. I see you said Richard Ashley says he's been on 15 cruises. Rita Bullard says she's been on 12 cruises. All right. These are some good numbers, guys. Both answers, both 14 and 12. That's more than I've been on. Jamie D, welcome to the show, Jamie. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good night too. Jamie, we got a surprise for you on tonight. So cheers to you too. Yep, I guess that's true, Bird. Bird's talking to my ear, guys. So if I ever look like I'm talking to the voices in my head, it's not. I've got this little earpiece, and it's Bird actually talking. Well, Jamie, that's not quite fair. Ray, I'll have to say this. Jamie says she might have you beaten cruises, but Jamie, you work on a cruise ship, so that's not quite fair. That's not entirely. I mean, first, let me see what it. Beaten years of cruising? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so. I don't. Yeah, maybe not in that many years. Yeah, but I know she's gotten beaten probably days, but that's when you work on a cruise ship. That's how it is. I get that.
10 years.
So, there's Guy Davis. Guy Davis is joining in on YouTube. Says, making dinner, change of drink tonight. Captain Morgan and Coke in a rum. Oh, in a rum mood. Okay, I see. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. You switch it up once in a while. Cheers, Guy. You always join me for a drink on Saturday. Oh, 4 minutes to pre-show. So, guys, if you haven't shared the video out yet, that's something that I like to always do together. So if you guys want to share this video out with me, all right, so you go to your Facebook page and you look us up, CruiseWeekTV. We're right here. I'll show you. And we'll share it out together. Oh, if it'll load. Okay, there we go. My phone's running just a little bit behind, so here's what we do. So we go to Facebook, CruiseWeekTV, and you can see the show on your live on your device on Facebook. And then we're going to click this little third button over here. Oh, you can kind of see it. The green screen effect is hitting us, but that one that says share. We click that share button. I'm going to write a post. Join us tonight. If you guys are on my Facebook, you'll see it, I'm sure. For CruiseWeek.tv. And I'll put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclamation points because exclamation points are awesome. All right, and then we click that little post button right there. It's up in that corner. You probably can't see it on the screen, but that's okay. I'm going to click it anyway, and then it's going to show up on my Facebook, and then that sends the show out there and shares with everyone on my friends list, on my news feed, anyone that follows me on there. So yeah, so that's a good way to get the show out there, and we'll get more viewership that way, and we'll have more people asking Ray questions later tonight. So it's gonna be a very exciting show. I'm very much looking forward to tonight's show. Guy Davis looks like you switched over to Facebook. Yep, Guy, I saw you switch. I saw you said were having Captain Coke tonight. Brenda Lee Bible, welcome. Thank you so much for sharing the video, guys. After you share the video, or even you can do this before you share the video. If you can hear me all right, and how about if you like my shirt, hit that little thumbs up button. If you don't like my shirt, still hit that little thumbs up button. Just do it anyway. It's fun. I just like seeing the thumbs up button go across the screen. It's fun for me. Joyce Richardson, hello. How are you tonight? Are you doing all right? Kevin Louvier, welcome. He says, have been back on the, from the glory and vista for 10 days and so ready to go back. You know, Kevin, I'll tell you what. After a vacation, I find most people need a vacation from their vacation. My boss at my day job actually was on a cruise last week, and the entire time, like, I mean, he got back from the cruise, and he says he still feels like the ship is rocking, even though he's on land. I think he has that, what is it, that land sickness thing. I don't know, have you ever had that land sickness, you know, where you get off the ship and you still feel a rocking motion for the next week or so? Anyway, that's what's going on with him. Heidi Leskin, welcome back to the show. Yeah, Ray's got some great stories for us tonight. So if you have any questions for Ray, Ray's been cruising for about 72 years. So, I mean, if you have any questions, be sure to get them ready because we're going to get to him later. Yeah. Jamie says my shirt looks like a pirate. She says that's perfect for a cruise show, Bird. I never thought of that before. I think that's kind of cool. And I thought it was. Well, thank you, Jamie D. Richard actually likes my shirt too. It's, you know how much the shirt cost me? It was like $5. It wasn't expensive, but I loved it. So I thought it was very much well worth the value because it was different. So anyway, thank you so much, and thank you, Joyce. Joyce said she loves my shirt too. Celia, yes, I have. Celia says she thinks it might be my favorite shirt because she's seen me wear it a couple times. You know, I have worn this shirt quite a few times on the show before. I have one in white as well. I think I want to go get more in white and dye them your favorite colors. If you guys have a favorite color, I'll wear it on the show. Just let me know what color that is, and I'll bring it on. Jason Tyler, yeah, refrain from making any pirate jokes. Yeah, very funny, sir. Nikki's going out on May 12th on the Triumph. Well, Nikki, you're going to have a great time on the Triumph. It is a pretty cool ship. And I got about 10 seconds left till showtime, guys. So I'm going to take one more sip of beverage before the show begins. Cheers to all of you, and cheers to a great show. There we go. All right. On tonight's show, we're going to be talking to Ray, who at 98 years old is possibly the world's oldest active cruiser. We have the latest cruise news, and I have a fun segment on the history of cruising, plus our fun photo of the week. And it might feature one of you, so you guys might want to stay tuned, because this is CruiseWeek.tv Live. Our show this week is brought to you by the folks at Good Memories Travel and by vMix. Hey everyone, I'm Joe, and welcome to another fun show all about cruising and cruise ships, where I get to talk to some amazing people in the cruising industry and put your questions to them. Now, I'm still a fairly new cruiser, but with the help of the experts that we bring on the show each week, we all get to learn how to make your first cruise or next cruise that much better. Now, this week we get to talk to someone who's been on many, many more cruises than, honestly, more than I have, and I think more than Bird has. I think more than anyone in our studio combined. And he's possibly the world's oldest cruiser. And no, if you're thinking about this, no, this isn't John Heald. Okay, this week we're going to be talking to Ray Boudreaux, who at 98 years old is still an active cruiser. But before we get to Ray and let him answer your questions, let's first take a look at our photo of the week. Now, our photo of the week this week comes from a Cruise Photos and Videos group. Yes, there is actually an entire group out there dedicated to posting great cruise videos and photos. Now, this one comes from Amanda Smith and features her 2 children enjoying time off at the port of the ship. And it's a great background, really. I think that's I'm not sure if that's like a regular cartoon character or some kind of a jester. Either way, it looks like they're having a great time. It's a great background. And you guys, remember, you can send a cruise photo into photos@cruiseweek.tv if you want to be on our photo of the week, or you can wait to see us post a request for photos in your favorite Facebook cruise group. So now, we all like to save money when we're booking a cruise, don't we? Well, here's one super easy way to do that. Use a travel agent. Good Memories Travel is the one that we recommend. Now, when Debbie saw the hard work that we were putting in to bring you all the cruise news and information to help others, she wanted to help and support us, and we would ask you to support her next time you book a cruise. Good Memories Travel is a full-service travel agency that offers you cash back and incentives that you wouldn't get booking directly with cruise lines, so why would you pay more for less? You can call or visit Good Memories Travel on the web, and it costs you nothing to compare a price and see the superior service and extras you get when you go through Debbie and her team for your next cruise vacation. They cover all the cruise lines. And if you're a new cruiser, they can even suggest the best ship and cruise to suit your cruising style. So give Debbie a call or visit their website today and see how much easier and cheaper it can be. Debbie can be reached directly at 321-338-2953 and, of course, through their website at goodmemoriestravel.com. So we often feature cruise directors, port tour guides, and people who work on or around the cruise lines. And tonight, we wanted to switch it up a bit. Tonight, we get to talk to one of the cruise passengers, but after 116 cruises, he probably knows more than most of the crew. And what makes our guest extra special is that he's been cruising for over 72 years. And at 98 years old, he shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. So I can't wait to hear some of the cruising stories, as I know you guys probably can't wait either. So welcome to the show, Ray. How are you doing tonight?
Very well. I'm well.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us from all the way from Ocoee, Florida. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long ago was your first cruise, and where did that go?
My first cruise, of course, was with the military. I traveled overseas. However, during the station in the Philippines, I had the occasion to go on a ship with all military personnel, which was paid for by them. And we went from Manila in the Philippines to Hong Kong. And while we stayed there for about 12 days, I think, total of the whole cruise. And while we were there, we was able to buy things that were made in Hong Kong. And I purchased a set of carved furniture, a chow table and a liquor cabinet and things like that. And I brought it back to my home in the Philippines. I was stationed at Clark Air Base. That was my first cruise that was considered a cruise. The others, the earlier part was in the military, where was transferred the military to bases overseas.
Wow. So you bought all that furniture from Hong Kong, brought it back to your home in the Philippines. Is that furniture still around today, or did you get rid of that a while back?
It has been disappeared. I don't know where it went. I forgot, but I don't have it anymore.
Oh, that's a shame. It would probably be some really cool stuff. It might be worth a pretty penny by now to people who like to do antiques. So,
I wish I had it. It would have been worth a lot of money.
I'm sure it would be. So now that was your first cruise. So I see you have one of your, I think it's a cruise shirt. Would you show us the shirt that you've got on? It looks like it's a,
Yes,
yep,
Jamie will recognize this.
Groove for St. Jude. Yeah, it's a,
I
it's
made donation to St. Jude, and they gave me a shirt
very nice. And you got a
and
necklace
a
on
teddy
there
bear.
too. What's on your necklace around your neck?
Oh, this is a chain that holds my ring for myself and my wife. She's deceased now. She left me in 2011, but I have her ring right here, and I wear it around my neck all the time, except when I go to bed.
That's very nice. Now, your wife, did she like to cruise with you often as well?
She cruised with me all the time until she passed away.
Oh.
Yes,
Well, in a way,
and
I guess you could. Oh, in a way, I guess you could say she still kind of cruises with you when you take that with you on the cruise ship.
yes, she passed away in 2011, and on her deathbed, she told me to continue cruising,
Very good. And you
and I did.
obviously haven't stopped. So you've still been going. 116 cruises so far. That's quite an impressive number. And honestly, like that's more than any. I don't know if that's more than anyone that's been watching the show, but that is quite a day. How many days total was that on the 116 cruises?
Uh, Hang on, that's 1,300 and let's start again. It's 1,365 days.
1,365 days. I think we did the math on that, and it's like that's probably around 4 years, maybe a little
A little
over on
bit less than
cruising.
four
Or
years, divided by 365. Yeah,
yeah, that's a lot of cruise time. That's a
that's
lot of
days
time
at sea.
that's days at sea. Yeah, that's a lot of days at sea.
Yeah.
That's it's definitely longer than I think anyone in our studio has been on cruise ships. So for sure. So and with no signs of slowing down either. That's pretty impressive. So what about the longest cruise that you've ever been on? How many days at sea was that?
I was on the Regal Princess, and it was four back to backs, and it was a total of 72 days from the United States and ending in Sydney, Australia.
Do that's quite a long. 72 days is a
72.
long time. That's a long time to be on a ship. What did you do on that cruise?
What I do, well, we went into different ports, and I take excursions. My wife was with me, and we went in and saw the wherever it went. We went ashore and did tours and or by ourselves, and we had a good time. It was great. I didn't want to leave the ship.
So we have some questions coming in from our viewers on Facebook. Let me see. Let's see. We'll start with Jamie D, cruise director Jamie D. What are the
Hi,
biggest?
Jamie.
I know you guys know each other. So what are the biggest changes in vacation cruises since you started cruising?
Well, it started out with small ships, and I liked the small ones. Then it went to the big ones. I don't, and there was as they got big, yet got more people. And of course, I'm a people lover, including Jamie D. But it changes, of course, is when you put more shows. They have more production shows than they did way back in the beginning, and the food hasn't changed, so it was good all the way. So,
Very nice.
what else?
So now we have another one from Richard Ashley. Now Richard Ashley wants to know what's your favorite cruise line and cruise ship that you've ever been on?
Oh, that's a hard question. Jamie won't don't like this, but I like Princess Cruises, which is owned by Carnival. But I've been on Carnival Princess for 35-day cruises, and I fell in love with Princess Cruises because they travel the world more places than the Carnival does.
Okay, so your favorite is Princess because they travel the world. Is there a
Yes,
favorite ship that you have?
I like them all. I don't want to verify. I wish I could say, but right now, let's say I like the Paradise
The
on with Jamie
Paradise.
D.
Alrighty,
Carnival Paradise.
that's a good that's a very good answer. So we have another one coming in from let's see, Erica Brinaugh, she wants to know why does Ray miss most on cruises? What do you miss most on cruises from years ago versus cruising now? What is it that you miss most?
That's a hard question. Well, I don't understand exactly what she means by that.
Well,
Uh,
since there have been a lot of changes over the years on cruise ships, what is it that you miss about maybe cruising years ago that they might not have anymore?
well, I we had fewer cruisers, passengers, and I was able to become acquainted with them closely. For now, they got thousands aboard, and I can't meet everybody, but I love people. But I liked it then because we had less people on the cruises.
Okay, so you prefer less crowded cruises overall?
Yes.
Okay, that's quite all right. I understand. Same here, honestly. It can make it easier to get around a little bit when there's less of a crowd for sure.
Uh, that's
Uh,
true.
yeah. So what about the furthest distance that you've ever gone on a single cruise?
Oh, distance. I suppose the distance would be the one that was on for 72 days, at least from the United States and ending in Sydney, Australia. I think that's about the longest. However, I've been through some from starting from Turkey and Europe and ending in Cape Town in South Africa. Those are pretty long ones, and um, I've been quite a few. I can't remember them all. Got them all written down here on my sheet of paper.
Is that that paper that you're going through? That's where they have all the you have a lot of questions or I mean a lot of the cruises on there.
Yes, I have all of them. I have all 116 of them. It's three pages. I think Jamie D has a copy of it.
Oh, could you show us show the audience the pages? No, just the
That's
wow.
page one.
Look at that how they're all
There's
listed
page
out too. That's so
two,
cool.
and there's the last page.
That is so cool. That must have taken you so much time to come up with that list. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty
Yes.
awesome. Um, so you've been 116 cruises is more than I think a lot of people ever get to do in their entire lifetimes. Do you
There's
have
people
any?
have been more places, more longer than that though. They're out there.
Oh yeah, they can be out there, but most of those people that have been on more cruises than 116 are people who work for cruise lines, aren't they?
No, these are passengers I'm talking about, and I met them, but I don't know who they were. Don't remember who they were. Got to
Oh, okay.
remember, I remember 98 years old, so I don't remember everything, but I try.
Well, that's okay. I'm not quite 98, but I don't remember everything either. It happens. Bert, on the other hand, he's like a million years. Bird is actually a million years old. He doesn't remember anything from 1 minute to the next, right, Bird? I'm only
Yeah.
I'm only teasing. Okay. Yeah, but still that's where you at 98 years old, still going on cruise ships. Are there some activities on a cruise ship that you still look forward to doing?
Yes, I like to see the production shows. And the last cruise we was on with Jamie, there we had bad weather and we missed and had to cancel two of the production shows. I love to see the production shows, and some of them was outstanding. Some of them I've seen them more than once in order because I like them so well.
Awesome. So, you like the production shows? Any shows in particular?
There's one that I can remember not too long ago. I think it's called Nick, and it was outstanding. I think it was on the Paradise. I believe. I don't remember now.
Okay.
Jamie will probably know that.
So, well, Jamie's had some questions for you tonight too. She does want to know how many kids or grandkids that you have.
Oh, last count, I had 18 grandchildren and 17 great grandchildren. And I think it's a couple on the way.
Well, that's quite a family. Jamie, is now you also told me earlier that you have a favorite cruise director. You want to tell us who that is?
Jamie D.
That's awesome. And Jamie's a favorite of a lot of people.
Yes, she's ranked number one of all the cruises, in my opinion. A lot
so
of other
why
people do the same.
so why is Jamie one of your favorite cruise directors?
She's a personality. She loves to talk to people, and she treats them well. And of course, she's got a lot of energy, and I like people with energy.
That's definitely a good reason, and we like Jamie for having that energy too. So we have another question coming in from Facebook. This one is from Joyce Richardson. She wants to know, I know you've made many friends on your cruises. Do you keep in contact with any of them?
Quite a few, yes, but not too often. But I have about 700 on my address book in the computer, and I do keep track of quite a few. We used to have I still do have a website called Cruise Mates, and I talk to them. We have chats and we talk to each other, and I'm keeping track of quite a few in several countries, not only the United States, but Canada and in Europe, and even in South Africa.
Wow. So do you keep in touch with them all by like just email, or do you like write to them letters?
Mostly emails. There's one in Israel that I do by letter, and she's great. She was with me in China. I've had a lot of land cruises in addition to all these um, cruises on the ships. Land cruises. I've traveled all over Europe, every country in Europe, and I met a couple in Bali, which where Jamie was just at. And I met a couple, and I visited her in Grand Cayman, and she lives there now. But I got a long story about her.
Very good. Now you mentioned all these places that you've been to, and you mentioned Israel, you mentioned Europe, you mentioned South Africa. Of all the places, do you have any favorite ports that you've visited?
Well, that's a hard question to answer too. I can remember flying into Johannesburg, Africa, and we was on a safari, and we went all the way there to the coast of South Africa and all the way down to Cape Town. And I love the places down there. I love that part of the country, world.
Yeah, South Africa is definitely something that people tell me it's a different part of it's very interesting. Do you have any over the years have you had any mobility issues trying to get around on any of the ports or with the cruise
Oh
ships?
yes, I do. I cannot walk, but I can't walk very far. So I have a scooter that I bring aboard, and I use a scooter for all over the ship. And I keep it in my room. Of course, I have to have a handicapped room in order to get the scooter through the doors. And I travel with it. And Jamie knows all about that too.
Well, that certainly doesn't discourage you from getting around. Obviously, 98 or 116 cruises and counting. You're still going at it. That's pretty good.
Uh, I'm not. I'm not quitting. I'm going on. I've got. I got three. I'm looking for to book one in July, which
Oh,
I haven't
excellent.
booked, but I'm booked in April. And of course, I'm booked in about 3 weeks. Going on the March of 26th with Jamie on the Paradise for two 5-day cruises back to back.
So it's nice that you still have quite a nice itinerary planned. So
Oh
now,
yes, I try to book way in advance, and I can be able to select the cabins that I would like to have. And if I don't, then somebody else is going to beat me to them.
so now with you, I can't imagine. Like I don't see too many people around 98 cruising anymore. That's is there any advice that you'd like to give to other senior cruisers?
Well, don't forget your passport. Very important. I've known people that get to the port and they left the passport at home. That's a very important thing. Have that passport. If you don't, you're not going to go. And when you get aboard the ship, find where the tours on the ship, where the ship is going to go, and book your tours in advance because they have a limitation on how many people can go on the buses. So that's very important. And then look around the ship to be sure and locate where all you're going to go, where your dining room is, where the theater is, and where the special restaurants are going to be, because it's very important. You can get lost, and they'll give you a kind of a diagram, a deck plan, so you'll know where everything is, and keep that with you for the first day until you get familiar with the ship. Then you'll know where you're going.
Very nice. And we got more questions coming in. Ray, we got a lot of people on Facebook. A lot of questions for you. Heidi Leskin wants to know: do you travel alone, or do you go with a family or in a group?
I always have somebody with me because of my age. I have traveled by myself, but no, I have somebody with me. Right now, I've got a person going with me, which Jamie has met on our first cruise.
Awesome.
She will be with me. Oh. Excuse me. And I bring somebody, at least a man or a lady. It doesn't matter.
Well, very good. And that's good. Like I think it's better to travel with somebody anyway. If you want the company, that's
yes.
It makes it a little less lonely. And
it's very important to have somebody in case something happens to you that they could be able to take care of you through medical or whatever.
This is true. And Misty Wright on Facebook, and then we always get these questions too. Now, and seeing that you've been on so many cruises, she wants to know what is one of your favorite cruise meals that you've had.
Cruise meals?
Yeah, we often get questions about food.
There is no food that's served aboard the ship that I do not like. I don't have any particular one. I can't answer that.
That's okay. Honestly, I find it it gets to be a hard question to answer after a while too, because there's so much. I've always experienced so much good food on cruise ships. I don't think I've ever had a really bad meal on a cruise ship. So I can understand that's something that.
That's right.
Oh, somebody wants to know if you like the chocolate melting cake on the cruise ship on Carnival.
I like chocolate, but I'd rather have something else. Chocolate is not my favorite drink, but I do drink it once in a while. I'll drink a lot of coffee.
I think he was talking about the cake, not chocolate, like hot chocolate.
Oh yes, I drink hot chocolate, but it's not my favorite.
Oh goodness. So we have Jamie. I'm so sorry. That threw me off just a little bit. All right. Yeah. There's So would you give any advice to any first-time cruisers that have never cruised before?
Yes, I'll tell you that passports are very important, and be able to meet people. That's very important. Enjoy the activities going on. Which there will be a list of programs going on all style ships, regardless of what cruise line you're on. There is a document that shows what's happening, and check off the things. You can't see them all; there's too many. So check off the ones that you want to go to, and be sure you go early so you'll be able to get a good seat wherever this being held.
So Richard Ashley on Facebook also wants to know what's one of your favorite islands that you've been to?
Oh, islands. That's hard to answer. I like them all. I can't answer that. I don't know.
Oh.
I like them all.
No ones. Okay, so no particular one that you like to go to more than any of the others?
No, I won't say. I just, as I told you before, I like them all.
That's okay. Yeah, that's quite all right. Have you ever had anything? This one's also from Richard Ashley. Have you ever had anything unfortunate to happen to you on a cruise?
Yes, I have. Once I remember very well, I got a terrible rash in my whole body, and I had to go to the medics, and they kept me down there a couple of days until they got it cured. That was very bad. And then I can remember I was on a small ship. I can't remember the name of it, and my wife fell down the stairs, and she got hurt, and we took care of it. But I never did have to evacuate and come home. Always the medics aboard was able to take care of all my ailments. But I have not been to the medics in several years. I've been pretty well.
So that's, I mean, that was something very unfortunate. But what about weather? Have you ever had any trouble with weather where they've had to maybe deter a cruise ship, or it caused excessive rocking, that
Oh,
seasickness?
yes. Let me tell you two occasions. I was on a cruise. We left the Washington, Seattle, I think it was, and went to uh, up to Alaska and through the islands. And after we left the last island, we was heading to northern Japan. We had weather, and it was bad. We were diving into the seas. If the seas was completely coming over the bridge and the whole ship, that was pretty bad. And then one other time, I was cruising down the coast of South America, and we was going toward Chile, Santiago, Chile, and the weather got so bad that everybody in the stern of the ship and everybody in the forward part of the ship came to the center to sleep on couches, floors, and everything. It was bad. We had bad weather. Those are two occasions that I can remember that we had. The rest of it, I've never been seasick in my life, though.
Well, the lack of seasickness is very fortunate, but all like those stories, it's something that I couldn't imagine on having it happen on any cruise ships today. I mean, but then again, like you've said, the cruise ships have gotten bigger over the years, but you still prefer the smaller ones?
I Not necessary. Uh, I'm going on the small ship right now because the Paradise has to get under the Skyline Bridge. But I go on the Magic, the Breeze, and the Dream, and some of the other ships on the Pacific, the Princess ships, and Norwegian ship, and Royal Caribbeans. I've been on all of them. And I like I was on the Allure with some friends, and we had a good time on the Allure of the seas.
Very good. So do you now, with all the things that you did mention that happened, would you be someone that would recommend getting travel insurance or cruise insurance?
Yes, I have insurance that I keep annually. I pay for it by the year. And yes, uh, everybody needs insurance because you'll never know what's going to happen. Uh, yes, I recommend everybody get a travel insurance because if something happens to you, you've got to get home and the insurance will pay for it if you've got insurance. So, but if you don't, then you might get stuck overseas somewhere. But yes, insurance is very important.
What are some of the benefits that you get from carrying cruise insurance, travel insurance with you?
Benefits, well, is unfortunate. I've never had to use it. I've never. So I can't tell you the answer to that. I've never had to use it, but I've got it.
So,
I
well,
pay
I
for
mean,
it by annual,
okay, but, I
and
mean,
it covers the transportation of myself live and somebody to accompany with me. And if I'm dead, they'll send my body back to my home wherever it goes, at paid for by the insurance. So it's best. You never know what's going to happen when you get out of the country. So
I
be
suppose that is true. Yeah, I suppose that is true. So you are someone that would recommend travel insurance. That's good to know. Um, Misty Wright on Facebook wants to know any excursions that you'd say that are a must do.
Well, for a first-time cruiser, I can't hardly answer that because look through the list of cruises that are available and select what you want to do. In other words, I can't read people's minds. They have to determine what they want to do, whether it be in the water, on land, or sightseeing or whatever. But be sure you do them because I myself I don't tour anymore. I stay on the ship mostly, but I'll go shopping and but yes, be a get a tour and book real early.
Okay. What about any excursions that you might have done that were things that you really enjoyed?
Yes, I was just on one not too long ago with my daughter, and we went to Cuba, and we saw all of Havana, and it was very interesting. I enjoyed that. We had a
Oh,
little rain, but it was good.
was it one of the History of Havana like tours, or was it what?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
it was on the Paradise.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, we hear a lot of good things about Havana, and I've seen pictures. It seems to be like one of those very like all the cars seem very old style. They like the cars are all older. The buildings look very old. Did you have
Yes,
any
I
culture
have.
shock?
Yeah, I put on Facebook pictures of my tour, I think, and it shows the old cars, the old buildings, and the convertibles. The convertibles are owned by the government, and they hire uh, drivers to drive them, and they use them as taxis. And the taxis take you anywhere you want to go.
Wow, that's I learned something new about Cuba today. I never would have known that. um, so Sharice Colley on Facebook wants to know over the years if you've met any famous people, Ray.
Say that again. What?
Sharice Colley on Facebook wants to know if you've met any famous people.
Oh yes. I can't remember his name, but he's passed away now. But several years ago, I met one of the famous Hollywood actors. He's a man, older man, and I wish I could remember his name, but I can't. But yes, I have. Uh,
And was that on a cruise ship that you met him, or
yes, it was on a cruise ship. I can't remember which one right now, but he was a famous actor, and he's passed away now. But I can't remember the name. After all, what do you expect out of me?
well, that's quite all right, Ray. That's no big deal. Um, so another question from Facebook. RJ Aruba wants to know if you've ever been to Aruba.
Aruba? Oh yes, I can remember. Some of my family was with me not too long ago when I become had my 100th cruise, and the Chamber of Commerce of Aruba arranged for a dinner table in a restaurant in the town. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's the big town of Aruba, and we met and we had a good time. Yes, Aruba is nice.
Yeah, that's so you got to go off the island and go to the major city there. Oh, we got another question on Facebook from Richard Ashley. He wants to know if you drink at all.
Yes, I drink water. Yes, I drink. I drink scotch, and I drink. Lately, I've been drinking margaritas before dinner. Before dinner, I go to the bar and have me a one margarita and go out for dinner. That's it.
Nothing wrong with
Don't
that at
get
all.
intoxicated.
That's all right. I read like just the other day that the Queen of England drinks four cocktails a day. So I figure if it's good enough for the Queen, it's good enough for the rest of us. So
Oh yes. Yes, I always go to the captain's party and I have a couple of drinks there. They're free.
the captain's party is that? Forgive me, I haven't been on as many cruises as
By
everyone
the captain.
else. It's what now?
Gives it free. It's a complimentary from the captain.
Oh, that's oh for plat. Oh,
They only do that for the higher category type people. For Carnival, it's the diamond and the platinum. I couldn't remember the other platinum. I
That's all
forget
right.
about things.
That's okay. I didn't know about it at all. So I've actually I learned something new today. So you've got a platinum cruise. You've got your platinum status
No,
on
I have
Carnival.
diamond. I'm a
Yeah,
diamond.
yeah. What about on other cruise lines? Do you have a lot you have a high
Yes,
status on any
I'm an elite princess. You have so many. They go by number of cruises on
okay.
Princess, and by number of days. And Carnival goes by number of days.
All right.
But
And
yes, the other ships, I'm low category. I haven't been on many. There are many because I'm mostly the Carnival and the Princess.
okay. So Royal Caribbean, really haven't earned so much of a status on there as you did on the other ships. Then is that correct?
Not yet. I've been on several of their cruises, but not enough to get a category which is high.
Okay. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. I think everyone's got their everyone has preferences when it comes to that. Another question came in on from Misty Wright on Facebook. She wants to know the type of stateroom that you normally get, and it's I know it's getting to be it's after 8:30, so we're going to take a few more questions from Facebook and YouTube. If anyone else has more, feel free to send them in. So, which type of stateroom do you normally get?
I have had all. I've had inside, I've had outside, I've had balconies, and I've had suites. So, coming the 26th of March and the 31st of March this year, and about 3 weeks from now, I have a suite, which is a handicap, the only handicap suite on the Paradise. I've had them all.
So, which of those ones that you've had, which do you prefer, and why?
Oh, the suite.
The suite. There's nothing wrong with that. Is that because of the more it comes with more amenities?
Yeah, it costs more money, but I enjoy it quite a bit. Or sometimes I can't get this higher category of a cabin, so I take whatever they got in order to get on the ship. Or it's
Very good.
getting on the ship is the most important thing.
I would, yeah, I think I would agree with that because once you're on the ship, you're already having fun, right?
That's right.
So-
And if you don't have a good time when you're on your ship, it's your own fault.
that's actually a pretty good way to look at it. I like that. Sharice Colley on Facebook wants to know: do you miss like the tuxedos, chocolate nights, midnight buffets, and all the fruit cravings, etc.?
Tuxedos. I used to wear tuxedos quite a while, but they're outgrown them or something. I use a regular suit with a tie for when we have elegant nights or uh, formal nights, whatever they call it on the ship. And I dress casually whenever they have a casual, and I'll dress up when they ask for it.
I think Charisse was more referring to the way Carnival used to have on the ships the guys the tuxedos and the chocolate nights and midnight buffets a while back when Carnival was that had to be toward the early days of Carnival, correct?
Yeah, your urban days they required you to get dressed up more. They've become more reluctant now, and they let you dress more or less like you want to. But I used to go way back in the days when had tuxedos and evening dresses for the ladies, and we dressed up. But now they've become more casual. Practically
Very
all the
good.
ships.
Right,
However,
right.
there is some of the elite cruise lines now they do require you to dress every night. I was on the Queen Elizabeth II once, and we had to dress up every night on it. I went around South America. I started from up to the north and went all the way around and come back to San Diego, I believe it was. And they required to have tuxedos practically every night. I remember one time I was in about 2 nights away from my destination, getting off the ship, and the waiter poured the food liquid down my back. They took my tuxedo and had it clean and right back to my cabin within hours.
So So you were on the Queen Elizabeth II. That's quite a famous ship. Aside from the tuxedos,
Oh
what?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really famous ship to be on. What aside from the tuxedos every night, what else was different about that ship than you find with regular ships?
Well, more elite, I
Mhm.
suppose, and but they had the same types of programs, and but it dressed up more at dinner time, and
Oh, cool. That's really so. Before we wrap this interview up, I have to ask one last question. What is the secret of a long cruising life, Ray?
secret: enjoy yourself, meet people, converse with them, and just have a good time, and don't overdo yourself.
Awesome. That's some great advice, Ray. Thank you so much, and I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule to be with us tonight and talk to us. So thank you so much.
I'll be glad.
It's been a pleasure, Ray.
You're right. I'm so happy to be here.
We were happy to have you. Thank you.
And
So the Carnival Horizon, it's getting its very own queen, the queen of hip hop, that is. Lover or hater, Queen Latifah is going to be the ship's godmother when it sails later this year. Latifah will preside over the ship's official naming ceremony in New York City on May 23rd, 2018, and she'll also participate in a special Horizon version of the cruise line's shipboard reproduction of the hit Paramount Network TV show Lip Sync Battle. Carnival Horizon will introduce a handful of firsts for the line, including Guy's Pig and Anchor Smokehouse, Brewhouse, and the line's first teppanyaki restaurant, an expansion of the popular venue, Bonsai Sushi. After Carnival Horizon's launch in Europe, the ship will reposition to New York for a summer of 4-night Bermuda and 8-night Caribbean cruises. It will then head down to Miami for year-round Caribbean cruises beginning in September of 2018. At least 2 cruise lines, Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean, have begun to cancel shore excursions that involve ferries in Cozumel, Mexico, after the U.S. State Department issued a warning to U.S. tourists. The reason for the warning came from the U.S. State Department, which was due to an explosion on a tourist ferry last month. Investigators later found an explosive device on board the ferry. On Thursday, 2 more explosive devices were found attached to another ferry in Cozumel. Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas is visiting Cozumel, Mexico today, and passengers received a letter stating that all shore excursions that involved taking a ferry were canceled. Passengers who booked shore excursions that involved taking a tourist ferry were refunded in the form of a credit to their onboard account. The cruise line included the following in their letter. We feel it is important to make you aware that the U.S. State Department today published a safety warning discouraging travel on tourist ferries in Cozumel. The U.S. State Department remains confident of the Mexican government's efforts to ensure the safety of all tourists in the country. However, in abundance of caution, we are canceling sponsored shore excursions that involve tourist ferries. We also discourage guests from taking part in independent excursions that involve tourist ferries. In a similar statement, Carnival had this to say. In an abundance of caution, we have canceled all ship-sponsored tours that make use of ferries between Cozumel and Playa del Carmen, and we are strongly advising our guests that ferries from the Cozumel to the mainland be avoided. And next week, our guest on the show is going to be Adrian from Cozumel Shores Tours. So I'm sure that we're going to be talking to him about this and answering all of your questions and worries and concerns. So our show and all the wonderful abilities that we have to bring in guests remotely wouldn't be possible at the level that we do it without vMix. vMix is the live production software that powers our live show and many, many other high-end productions. From church services to football games, more and more live productions are running on vMix. And what our producer Bird really liked when he was trying to improve our show was that they give you a full 60-day trial of everything. That way you can test it out risk-free before you buy for a full 2 months. And then they have systems starting at just $350 up to $1,500, depending on your production requirements. If you're going to do any sort of serious live streaming, you need vMix. So try it at vmix.com today for free. So Sydney is the state capital of New South Wales and the most populous city in Australia. Port Jackson, consisting of the waters of Sydney Harbour, Middle Harbour, North Harbour, and the Lane Cove and Parramatta rivers, is the natural harbour of Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. The harbor is an inlet of the Tasman Sea, which is part of the South Pacific Ocean, and is the location of the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The first people to inhabit the area, now known as Sydney, were Indigenous Australians, having migrated from northern Australia and before that from Southeast Asia. Radiocarbon dating suggests human activity first started to occur in the Sydney area from around 30,735 years ago. The first meeting between the native people and the British occurred on April 29th of 1770 when Lieutenant James Cook landed on Botany Bay at the Kurnell Peninsula and encountered the Gwenagal clan. The earliest British settlers called the natives Eora people. Eora is the term the indigenous population used to describe their origins upon first contact with the British. Its literal meaning is from this place. Sydney Cove from Port Jackson to Petersham was inhabited by the Cadigal clan. England and Ireland had for a long time been sending convicts across the Atlantic Ocean to the American colonies. That trade was ended with the Declaration of Independence by the United States in 1776. Between 1788 and 1792, about 4,300 convicts were landed at Sydney. The colony was not founded on the principles of freedom and prosperity. Maps from this time show no prison buildings. The punishment for convicts was transportation rather than incarceration, but serious offenses were penalized by flogging and hanging. The year 1840 was the final year of convict transportation to Sydney, which by this time had a population of 35,000. Gold was discovered in the colony in 1851, and with it came thousands of people seeking to make money. Sydney's population reached 200,000 by 1871. When Britain declared war on Germany in 1939, Australia too entered. During the war, Sydney experienced a surge in industrial development to meet the needs of a wartime economy. Far from mass unemployment, there were now labor shortages and women becoming active in male roles. Following the end of the war, the city continued to expand. There were 1.7 million people living in Sydney in 1950 and almost 3 million by 1975. Today, Sydney serves as a gateway for much tourism in Australia. Popular destinations include the Sydney Opera House, Sydney Harbour Bridge, Watson's Bay, the Rocks, Sydney Tower, Darling Harbour, the State Library of New South Wales, the Royal Botanic Garden, the Royal National Park, the Australian Museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art, the Art Gallery of New South Wales, the Queen Victoria Building, Sea Life Sydney Aquarium, Taronga Zoo, Bondi Beach, the Blue Mountains, and the Sydney Olympic Park. Remember, we have many past videos available for you to watch at our website, CruiseWeek.tv, which also has links to our t-shirt pages and support pages, as well as if you'd like to help out with our funding for a Season 2 trip, or would like to advertise on the show, you can do that with the links from our site. If you know someone who's going to enjoy watching the show as much as you do, be nice and share the link to their Facebook wall. That way they too can enjoy. Also, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook pages, because just doing that alone really helps show our sponsors the support that we have and helps keep the show alive each week. Plus, you get entered into some great cruise swag drawings. Also, guys, Matt is going to be back next week and revisiting with an old friend. That's going to be Adrian from Cozumel. He was on our second show over a year ago, and we thought it would be fun to bring him back and see how the island has changed and what new developments are happening, especially in the wake of this week's ferry news. So join us next Saturday to find out more. That being said, that wraps up another CruiseWeek.tv show. So we'll see you all next time.